Hello traders, Damien Castilla here. Welcome to another post-session review. Today is Wednesday, August 21st, and I normally don't do a post-session review after a live stream because the whole session was captured in the live stream and there was extensive commentary on the price action and everything else. But today I feel compelled to do so simply because of an individual who came in and started making, comments that were irrational, completely out of context, and I normally disregard those and take them for what they're worth. But I've also have the sense to know that every comment has some degree of influence on some people, and it would be irresponsible of me to not address them in the proper way, because some of the newer folks that haven't been trading with us for a long time may now know the difference and see current performance to those comments made, and have them add more weight to those comments than they should. Um, so again, you can see that throughout the many years that I've been doing this, throughout the thread in these live streams, and we've dealt with criticism before, and to the extent I welcome it because it sparks good debate and some good things usually come from it. Okay, I normally don't entertain um, them to some extent, but when they are somewhat damaging, grossly um, damaging, and say things that are just flat out wrong, then there is a real sense of responsibility on me to clarify some of those comments, to put them in proper context, so that the newer folks that haven't had the benefit of seeing what an amazing place this is to learn and to develop trading skills can actually take those comments for what they're worth. Okay, so before we get to any stats and before we get into any level of profitability or what have you, let's first understand what a trade plan is and what a trade plan is not. Okay, a trade plan provides you with a method of operation that gives you an edge over um, price action. Okay, it is not a guarantee that you're going to make any profit at all. Okay, because in order for that to happen, you would have to execute 100% on those rules 100% of the time for it to give you that edge. Okay, and since that is an impossibility, therefore it is impossible that your trade plan can offer you any sense of a guarantee from a profitability standpoint. Okay, let me also tell you what a trade plan is. Okay, a trade plan is your way to capture something that gives you an edge in the market. So in our particular case, we expect the market to continue to make higher lows and new structure highs, and from new structure lows, lower highs, and then another new structure lows. Okay, it is dynamic to market movement and price action. That's the beauty of our system, right? But that frequency happens sometimes 100% on any given day. Some days it's 40%, but the average more or less is near around 70% or higher, is what I really believe. Okay, does that mean that you're going to trade at a 70% or thereabouts? It doesn't, right? It tells you that your trade plan should try to capture that as much as possible. Now, to that, you have to create some foundation rules that have you placing yourself in a position to be able to capture this, right? And then you have to give yourself, that's a structure analysis, right? And then you have to give yourself an opportunity to be able to look for a trade within that um, phenomenon, right? And that's what the order flow analysis does. It helps you define an area of interest. And then you have to be able to enter the trade, okay, which is the bar by bar, okay, it gives you that trigger. And then the trade management helps you capture that expectancy of that new structure high. So all these components have rules that sometimes have you not being able to take that trade for whatever reason, okay? So therefore, it is impossible to say that if you're looking to capture something that happens 70% of the time, that you're going to capture it 70% of the time. Because on top of that, you have the emotional component. It's going to have you not following your trade plan during certain times for whatever reason. Okay? So you cannot sit there and say that because the expectation plays out 70% of the time, my trade plan captures 70% of the time, and I trade at 70% of the time. In a perfect world, that would be true. In a real world, that isn't true. Okay? But I'm here to tell you, okay, and I will show you with my stats, that if you apply yourself and you do a better than reasonable job at trying to capture that, that your trading stats should be around 70% or better. Okay, are they always going to be that way? No. Are you going to go through series of losses? Yes. This is a long-term strategy, right? You need to provide yourself a an edge, not for today, not for tomorrow, but an edge forever. And that edge forever is measured over time, not over a day or two or 20 or 30 days. Okay, and I'll give you an example of that right here. Okay, these are stats, and I covered the P&L from January 1st through October 21st, the whole year, this year to date. Okay, had 2,208 trades. Okay, fairly evenly spaced between longs and shorts. Okay, these are long trades, these are short trades. Okay, the winning percentage on both sides is pretty close to the same. Okay, and my overall winning percentage or profitable percentage is here. Okay, does that mean that I've won every single trade? No. Does that mean that I have not strung losses? No, it absolutely doesn't. Look, max consecutive losers 77. Okay, 77. Okay, max consecutive losers. Max consecutive winners is 241. Okay, my largest win, okay, is 482. Something I didn't really want to share with you, but okay, I guess I can't keep everything a secret, right? My largest losing trade is 78%. Okay, what does that mean that my risk reward is? Okay, does that mean that my risk reward is way better than a one-to-one most of the time? It absolutely does, right? In fact, what is the risk reward ratio here? My largest loser is this and my largest winner is that. What is the risk reward on that? What is my win rate? So when somebody goes out there and say that it's impossible to trade at a 70% or 80% and have a good risk reward, that's just not possible, is just ignorance. Okay, it's a damaging statement, and it irritates people that know better. Okay, and it also confuses people that don't know better because they haven't been around for a long time. So Greg, when you speak about responsibility and the responsibilities that you have a responsibility that when you're going to make an outrageous comment, that it's at least has some truth behind it and not just you're speaking out of ignorance. Okay, so I don't mean to attack you personally, but it was you who kept on and on and on and on and on, and I think that was very disrespectful. It was none of what you said was accurate. Some stuff had a little bit of merit to it, but for the most part you were arguing with everyone, and we're just trying to show you, or show people a way to enhance their skills. Okay, but you've taken it out of context, made some outrageous false comments that were just irritating and disrespectful. So I felt compelled to not ignore it, because we're all going to have criticism, and in large that it's also constructive in most parts. But when you just flat out, you know, speak without no real reason or logic or intelligence behind it, then it just not only is it disrespectful, but I feel the need to decontaminate the comments so it doesn't, contaminate those poor souls that haven't had the benefit of being here for a while to actually see the value behind it. Okay? I don't know what your story is. I don't know how long you've been trading. I don't know what your scars are, but I can tell you that what you're saying is just flat out wrong. It's attacking. It's damaging to those that don't know better. You even compared it to snake oil. I'm not selling anything. I've never sold anything. We'll never sell anything. And my goal is to enlighten people, not hurt people. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video for a second before I bring in your next comment, which is even more disrespectful, and then we'll go over the price chart a little bit here. So I paused the video so I can remove the stats without the balances coming out. But then, Greg, to make matters worse, and the reason why I felt compelled to say this is because you put a level of responsibility that, I don't have. Okay, you said, Mr. Pip, you have a lot of respect for you. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't care. Being out there susceptible to judgment. Okay, I don't care about people judging me. Nobody has the right to judge me. You will either decide whether this has value to you or it doesn't. If it does, great. Apply it, learn it. But take your own responsibility for your own actions. Okay, what do I always tell people? You need to hold yourself accountable, right? You have to be accountable for your decision making. Not me, not anybody else. You can only be responsible to yourself, and I can only be responsible to myself. Okay, but you also have a huge responsibility. So what is my huge responsibility, and how is this about people's lives? Okay, so I think that you're putting way too much drama into this. I have no responsibility over people's lives and the decisions they make. That would be the same as me teaching you how to cross the street and telling you, okay, Greg, here we are at the corner here. You want to cross in the crosswalk because that makes drivers more in tune to people that are crossing the street. That's just a safety area for you to cross. You also have to look both ways, and you also have to make sure that the light is not green because that way the cars are just going to keep going. And if the light is red, then you have a larger margin of safety. So after I tell you all that, and I teach you how to properly cross the street, and we do it once or twice, and then tomorrow you run into the middle of the street and get hit by a car, who's the dumbass, Greg? Is it my responsibility because you did not listen to the instructions that I gave you? Or is it your responsibility because you're the dumbass that didn't learn from it? So, Greg, in keeping things into context, okay, choose your words more carefully. Okay, I have zero responsibility in the decisions that you make. I also have zero responsibility whether you can learn it or not. That's on you. How you apply it is on you. Everything's on you. I just feel gracious enough to have been able to learn something to a degree that has changed my life, and I like to pay that forward and help other people maybe reach the same level of success or even a fraction of the success that I have gained. But it's not my responsibility if you fail. I didn't push the button for you. I didn't make you learn this right or wrong. Okay, this is just reference material that you need to dissect. You need to um, adapt, learn from, adapt it or disregard it, whatever floats your boat. But I have zero responsibility, and that comment is grossly irresponsible of you to make. Okay, so I'm not looking to get into a little debate with you. I'm not looking to. I don't care whether you apologize or not. I don't care if you even feel insulted and now feel the need to attack me. I'm not going to entertain it. But I do have, like you say, a huge responsibility that at the very least the information is put into proper context. Because if it's put into proper context, then at least those that can learn will learn, and those that can't won't. Okay? I don't know where you fit into that, and I don't care. Okay? But I do care about the young traders out there that haven't had the ability to, for themselves, to see the power behind learning to read a chart with accuracy, learning the three components that make you a consistently profitable trader, be derailed by a senseless, mindless comment like the one you just made. Okay? Um, so, whether it's a misunderstanding, let's just agree to disagree and move on. Um, I'm not going to get into a pissing match with you. All the comments that you've made, all of the statements that you've thrown out there, I have disproven with my stats. I have disproven with um, the countless lessons that are on this channel and on the thread. And I just want to make sure that at the very least, um, that if you are the only misguided soul, that I hope and I've enlightened you through what I've shown you to rethink your comments. And if it's not, and you're just gonna, you know, stay fixed in your own little box, that's fine too, Greg. That's fine too. Okay? But share a little responsibility at the very least to respect the information, respect the comments. And if you're going to make a comment, at least have some facts behind it or something along the lines, and just, that looks like something you've made, a comment you've made out of emotion, because you can't seem to get that result, therefore it's impossible. Okay? And that's not the way the world works, Greg, and I hope you learn to cross the street properly so that you don't get mangled by a car. All right? I've said my piece. I've done my part. I hope the rest of you can move on and put his comments and mine in proper context. I may be out of line to some extent. I may have taken some things personal here to some extent. I know I have. I take this comment here of that I have a huge responsibility and that this is about people's lives very personal, and very erroneous. And I felt the need to come here in this way, in this public way, to not only straighten Greg out, but to straighten anyone else who might think that way, because nothing could be further from the truth. Okay? And that's about it. I hope I've not discouraged any disagreements with what I teach or what I say, because that leads to very healthy, very positive debate that I can even learn from. In fact, I have many times, um, and I hope it also doesn't motivate or alienate people from wanting to comment out of fear of you know my wrath. It's not at all. I mean, I am very respectful. I value everyone's opinion, but this is not an opinion. This is an attack, and an irresponsible one at that. So I felt the need to do that, and again, I will not entertain any further comments from Greg unless they are constructive um, to um, growth and development of us all. Um, Greg, if you feel attacked or insulted or belittled or what have you, um, although it was my intent because I needed to do that to prove a point, then I am also sorry that I hurt your feelings or that I attacked you to some extent. But the lesson needed to be applied by me for the benefit of all. All right. So let's just move on and let's continue moving in the direction of growth, in the direction direction of proper application of chart reading skills. Okay. Thank you very much for this moment. I apologize that it was educational on a different level, and I hope it wasn't. I hope nobody thinks less of me for doing this. I think it was important to address it in this way. Um, as for today's trade, we all know what happened. We had here a entry signal on the main swing. Price went against us. It had us implementing a rescue mission. Our account was limited to not being able to add another position size, so we didn't. Once price closed above, we trailed on decision candle, and then price came back to take us out. We did have an opportunity here to re-enter. I did not take this trade, although it was in my trade plan. I did not follow my own rules. I felt price should maybe want to come down to this level again or revisit this area, and I wanted to get a better price, even though this did offer me a better price entry, a trade that's in my trade plan 100%, and I didn't capitalize on that. It is what it is. We had a break-even day today, and tomorrow we will look for more and better trades. Thank you very much for your time. I apologize again for the rant, but there was a lesson in there, and I hope that our friend Greg doesn't take it too personal and doesn't feel the need to start posting Mr. Pip sucks everywhere he goes. All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for your time and for your support.